causing all of this harm.
Survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes are still left searching for answers even after the release of millions of files. But more information could be on the way this week. So joining us now in the group chat, Congressman James Walkinshaw. We were just talking during the break about how lawmakers are going to get to go in a room and look at unredacted files. I don't know if it's boxes. I don't know if you're timed. How's it supposed to work? And what are you going to be looking for?
Well, we have to schedule a time to go in and review the files. I think it's a mix of electronic and paper. And look, there are 3 million files with a lot of redactions. So we're going to have to be targeted in looking at the most troubling redactions.
So what are you going to be looking for?
There are patterns. Well, for me, some of the missing information, we know that survivors have laid out in their original statements to the FBI, the list of co-conspirators, others who they say were involved in these crimes. I want to determine whether any of that was redacted. Obviously, whether there are any redactions related to President Trump, members of his cabinet, or other prominent figures, quote unquote, Trump's friends, who he's concerned by being harmed due to the release of the file. So I think all of that we have to look at.
Ghislaine Maxwell supposed to be sitting. What do you expect to hear from her?
Unfortunately, we don't expect to hear a lot. We're told she's going to plead the fifth. I'm still committed and plan to make sure we ask her very specific questions. She knows who those co-conspirators are. She knows which other men were involved. She knows exactly what Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said to her when they met and she was subsequently moved to a cushy, lower security prison. I want to understand all of that. Unfortunately, it sounds like she's going to plead the fifth today. We won't get direct answers to those questions.
One more on this, because Pam Bondi is supposed to give some testimony this week as well, or be at a hearing. And earlier in the show, we had Jess Michaels on, a survivor. And I don't know if you saw their Super Bowl ad, but at the end, it's like, tell Pam Bondi to release. So here is Jess just moments ago.
Those same Republicans are being pressured to not say a word to Pam Bondi at the hearing, because that's when we're hoping things will come out, is on Wednesday. Pam Bondi has to sit before the committee. We wanted to ask them to ask hard questions, but we've heard they're being pressured by the White House to avoid the Epstein files altogether and to only talk about Pam Bondi's accomplishments.
I spoke to Jess earlier today, and I know she and other survivors plan to be at that hearing today. And I think my Republican colleagues are going to have to grapple with, can they look her and the other survivors in the eyes and place, again, their loyalty to Trump ahead of the pleas that we're hearing from Jess and other survivors to push to get the full release of the files. And look, the Deputy Attorney General said that there were 6 million files. He said that. He then said he made a subjective decision that they had over-collected 3 million files. The law doesn't allow him or Pam Bondi to make a subjective decision to not release 50% of the files. They got to release all 6 million files.
The last